Hi, my name is Ivan, and you're listening to CIDI 99.1 FM on your dial. I was born in Countsville. I was raised in Maine for 15 years. That's where I did all my education. Then I moved back to Canada back in late 74. Worked at IBM for a few years, went back to college for a year, and then I got a job as a service manager for office equipment in Montreal, which I did for 25 years. I traveled Granby to Montreal for 25 years, so that's, quite an adventure. And then I was on the road after that, Montreal, Laval, North Shore, South Shore, everywhere. It was a lot of fun. I got married and we decided to have the kids, so we decided to move back to Granby before we had them in Montreal. So that way that we wanted to bring up the kids more into a suburban, not the rat race of the city. So that was the idea, and it worked out. I started recording with reel-to-reels back in the late 70s as a hobby, and I was playing in bands on the weekends. Plus, I kept my day job, but I always played up in clubs back in the days. There was a lot of clubs back in the 70s and 80s. And one thing led to another, and then I met people who would do the recording business. And then 14 years ago, I retired. And then one of the bands that I played with all the clouds was Maurice Sinkfield, who introduced me, asked me if I wanted to do some editing for the radio station. So back in the day, years ago, they used to record during the week. And we'd come in on Sunday from 10 till 7 at night and edit all the shows, So he was a co-musician with me, Maurice. And so we used to come in here and do all the shows and get them ready for the air. Well, right now I'm retired. So my fun and pleasure is coming to the radio station every week for 2 or 3 times a week and recording and producing shows and meeting people and getting out of the house. So it's a nice retirement little adventure that I have every week, and I enjoy it. So I've been here for 13 years now. First of all, it's got to be fun, and it is fun. I get to keep up with the new software, which is nice. So it's hard to keep up with today's technology because it's just so fast. But it keeps you alert, and it's fun, and it's nice learning something new all the time. And I enjoy what I do. It's another part of music. Like I used to play in bands and clubs and in my studio, and then when I gave that up a few years back, this came up, and so it's still another aspect of music, but it's a different venue, So it's like I was taking new ventures, and like I said, I produce 4 shows a week, which is fun, and I enjoy all the shows that I do too, and if you calculate the length that I've been here, I've done about 3,000 shows that I've done since I've been here. Well, like I did, I do 4 shows. I've done a lot over the past that are not here anymore. I've always had fun with them. My pride and joy right now, I want to put in a plug for the classical music of the world with Karen Katarevit. That is my little pride and joy. I enjoy. She's a very good company. She has an excellent show, and I'm not knocking the other shows that I do. They're fun too. And I've been doing Bushy, the Burning Bush on the Hall of Fame for about 8-9 years now, and we have a good rapport. I take care of all his shows, and he keeps me storage for my Miata for the winter, which is there I bought last week. So everybody scratches their back, Well, back in the 80s, before your time, we had the Atari, Commodore, IBM XT, and then Microsoft 1.0, which was on a floppy back there. And I started with a software over the years, which was Cakewalk Sonar, and I've always used that for almost about 25 years now. So about 4 or 5 months ago, I was using the same old software, and then I discovered that they were using newer software now, and so I got into that. It was kind of hard to make the transition from old school to new school, but I put a little bit of extra effort into it, and I learned it. And today's technology is so much easier, so much comprehensive. I will recommend, it's a lot of fun. If you like to have fun, you enjoy it, and after all these years, Every show that I record, I still get a kick of seeing the voice as a WAV file on the track and be able to manipulate that the way you want. So I still get a thrill how it's done, or the multi-tracking. Software now, I just got into it about 4, 5, 6 months ago. It's called Reaper. It's a multi-track audio editing software. And so I've been using that with, that's why I was saying earlier with the technology, it's so much more comprehensive. It saves me so much time with some of the features that it does. Like you want to normalize a track. Sonar would take you a minute to do 45 seconds to do a track. You do Reaper and it's instant, right away. So it saves you a lot of time, a minute here, a minute there, so it all adds up on your recording time. With today's technology, you don't need a $100,000 studio to get good results. A good camera, one good microphone, whether it be a lapel or a hookup for a regular camera, you can get good quality video out of what we have in today's technology. As far as cell phones go and cameras, they've improved so much, quality-wise, and the ease of use, and the prices go down all the time, and you're getting more and more for your money. If you have a question about anything, even working on your car or audio or video, you just have to go online nowadays. Back in my days, when you learned a song, the Beatles song, when the Beatles came out in 1963, and I remember I was 8 years old back then, and I remember watching on a black and white TV Sunday night on the Ed Sullivan Show, the Beatles. Now, if you wanted to learn a song back then, you had to buy the 45 or the album, back in the days, and then you would take the turntable and then you'd play it at the beginning, try to get the words to it. And then you'd play it again and try to get the chords to it. So it was trial and error. Then back in the 80s, you had tapes, and that was, tedious too to learn it, Whereas now, then in the 80s and 90s, you had CDs, which was a lot faster to start and stop and plays and pause. And then now you have YouTube, and now you have, you have the sky's the limit you have the web. The web can solve so many. The World Wide Web came out, in the 80s, I believe, the late 80s. And it's just a growing thing, and there's access to anything you want nowadays. Any questions, you'll find it. And if you don't, post them. One of my unusual habits is I play guitar, and I like to be, I love guitars. I'm not an accomplished player. I'm good, I consider that, 'cause I play with a few professional bands. I can sing and play harmonica, but I have a weakness for guitars. I just bought another one. It's on order, and so I'm up to 14 guitars now. And and it's a nice variety, Gibsons and Fenders and Gretsch and Taylors. So I've got a nice collection of guitars, and that's my little. Since I got rid of my studio before, I kept all my guitars. So all I have is a one room now with guitars all over the walls and all over the stands and my amps. So it's my little showroom, I call it now, So my obsession is with guitars. COVID-19 has been like an adventure. We're slowing down now, we're doing better. In my case, last year, just before it started, I was going to move apartments. So at the last minute, it was already getting hard to go look for apartments, because I sold my house. And so I decided to stay where I was, and I renovated. I got the landlords, gave me the green light, and I renovated the floors, all the light fixtures, all the baseboards, all the electrical outlets, all the plugs. So it's very nice now, it's very up to date, more modern, So the COVID-19 was kind of a godsend in a way. Like I said, I look at it as a positive thing. I said, what am I gonna do? So with this kept me busy with painting and all the renovate. And I just finished, believe it or not, 3 weeks ago. It took me a year and a half to do this slowly to show you. So the COVID-19, I took advantage of being caught up inside with the lockdown and all that stuff, and made the most of it and renovated and stayed home like everybody else. Well, I've had a couple of bumps in my life, but I'm a jack of all trades, so I managed to get out of it. I think life is like waves. It's like the ocean. You have, good waves, and then you have the low tide, So sometimes you have little bumps, inconveniences in life, but you gotta pick yourself up and you gotta get back into it. I'm just a positive kind of guy. When I feel overworked or a little bit down, I take a breather. And what's comfortable about the way I do my shows here is I come in 2-3 times a week for an hour, 2 hours, and then I go home and edit at my leisure. So that's what I always get the job done by Wednesday night, so they're all done. But that keeps me focused, so I get to use the same software here as at home, same microphone to do my show, and I keep it simple. You have to learn from your failures. You have to get up and go, and like falling off a horse, you have to get up and get back on it. And you learn from your mistakes, and the mistakes is try not to do it twice, and try to be cohesive in a learning process that way. So keep up the good attitude, stay positive, and next thing you know, it's time flies, and you have to have a positive output in life. As far as social media goes, I am just starting to learn the social media and just starting to get into it. So you can find me on, you can find the radio shows on CIDI 99.1FM. Some of the shows that I do is called Townshippers, the Yvon Hour, Bushy, the Hall of Flame, and I also do the classical music of the world with Karen, which is my little golden theme. It's my pride and joy that I have. So you can also reach me at the radio station and Facebook. I have my own. I don't have my own Facebook page yet, but I have a Facebook account. So I'm just starting to get into media. And believe it or not, I don't have a cell phone. I'm just looking into getting a cell phone now, so I can start getting into this stuff and have one. It is very practical when you go somewhere and you have to call somewhere. So I'm a little late on certain technology, but I'm advanced on other technology.
I would like to acknowledge the support of the Official Language Minority Community Media Consortium and the Government of Canada for the Community Media Strategic Support Plan.